Hey, hi, and welcome back. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about the backup feature of the Eagle software. Okay, and we will try to understand why the backup feature of the Eagle software is so important. Okay, and no matter what kind of PCB design software you are dealing with, the backup feature will be there in each and every PCB design software. All right. So in this video, I will show you the practical demonstration of backup feature. And in this video, you will get to know how exactly this particular feature works. Okay. So that being said, now let's start with this video. So now let's try to understand the backup feature in the Eagle software. And in order to explain that, I'm going to consider two scenarios. So consider that you are working on an Eagle project, and while working on the Eagle project, suddenly your software got crashed. Okay. And it stopped working. Now, this kind of scenario is actually very rare. It's not going to happen. But if you don't have the right operating system and if you don't have the right specifications in your system, then maybe you may face this kind of issue. Okay. So that's basically the first scenario in which the software may get crashed. And if that happens, then you may lose your entire work. So in such scenario, the backup feature is actually it's going to be a kind of lifesaver for you. It's because it's going to create the backup of your work that you did. Okay. So that's the first scenario. Then the second scenario could be related to the power cut. So again, let's say that you're working on an Eagle project, and while working on the project, suddenly there is a power cut, and because of that, your computer gets shut down. Now, in this case, again, you may lose your entire work if you haven't saved your work. Okay. So in such scenarios, the backup feature of Eagle software is very important, and it's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to, give you little less pain. Okay. So now let me show you the practical demonstration of backup feature on the Eagle software. So after opening the software, if you go to this particular tab, which is of options, then you will find this particular option, which is backup/locking. And if you click on this one, then this particular dialog box will appear. And in this dialog box, if you see, the maximum backup level is actually 9. So you can actually change the number. So it's actually telling how many backups you want to create for your project. So you can edit this particular number, and accordingly, those will be the maximum backup which software is going to create for you. So I'm just going to keep the default option, which is 9. And after that, autosave interval. So how frequently you want to save your project? Because for example, if you are getting started, then you may not have, or you might not have the habit of saving the project frequently. So in such scenario, there is a high probability that you may lose your work if any of the scenarios that we discussed, if they happens. Okay. So that's why on your behalf, the software is actually going to create the backup every 5 minutes. Okay. So now let me show you how exactly this backup feature works on the schematic and layout editor. So you already know that we have created or we have stored our schematic and layout file in this particular location: Documents, Eagle Project, and Internshala PCB Design Training. Now in this location, you can see this is the schematic file, and this is basically the board file. Now what I will try to do, I will try to delete some of the elements from this schematic file, and we will see how exactly this software creates the backup. Okay. So I will first delete this particular line, and if I click on save button, then you can see it has created the first backup. So I'm just going to click on refresh here, and this is basically the first backup. Now if I delete second line, so let me just delete the second line, and if I click on save, then second backup is actually created. Okay, so I'm not sure why this is happening, because I never faced this kind of problem. So no problem, you just click on refresh and schematic file will automatically appear. Okay, so we got two backup files. So every time you press the save button, software is actually going to create the backup for your project. And if you are not saving the project or your work manually, then every 5 seconds the software is going to create the backup. Okay, so let me delete some more lines, and let's create total 9 backup. And after that, once the 9 backups are created, then the software is actually going to overwrite these all files. So I will show you that in a moment. So let me save and create total 9 backups, and later you will observe that how exactly the software rewrites the file. So total we have 8 backups till now. So let me delete this one, and if I click on save, then we got the 9th backup. So total we have 9th backup. Now you just observe the time here. So it's 4:41. Now if I save the another time, the schematic file, then it's going to overwrite this particular file. So you just observe the timing. It's 3:55. Now I will just delete this one, and if I click on save, then you will see that the timing will actually change. Now next time when the software will create the backup, it's going to overwrite this particular file. So let me delete the line, and after that if I click on save, you just observe this file. It's going to create the backup. It's going to overwrite this particular file. So I will just click on save, and you can see it created the second backup. Okay, so that's how basically the backup feature in the Eagle software works in case of schematic, and same thing is true in case of a board file also. So this is basically the board file, and if I try to delete something and if I click on save, then you can see we got the first backup. So let me quickly delete and create the multiple backups. So I will just save them. So we have total 2 backups till now. So let me delete some more and save, and after that delete and then save. So quickly I will delete some more lines, and let's create the backup. Total 9 backups we are going to have, as we saw on the control panel, and save. So let me quickly delete some more. So we have total 9 backups now, and next time when we will save the file, it's going to overwrite this one. So let me do that and save, and you can see, okay, so 357, I think we didn't have the, okay, so 9th backup is created. Now it's going to overwrite this one. So I think if I try to save this this file, or at this moment, it's going to show the same time. So let me wait for 1 or 2 minutes, and after that you will observe the change in first backup file or second backup file. Okay, because I don't remember which one is overwritten. Okay, so let me wait for 2 minutes. Alright, so now let me delete this line, and after that if I click on save, you just observe the change here, okay, in second backup file. So I will save here, and you will observe the change in timing here. So I'm not sure whether the file is saved or not. So the backup is, I think, not created. So let me save or delete one more track, and okay, and then save. So you can see we got the backup here. So this is basically the first backup file. So I hope that you got the process, how exactly the backup is going to, software is going to create the backup. Now you will have a question, after creating the backup, how I will get to know which backup was the last backup. So in that case, the solution is you just have to track the timing. So like this one is 356, and this was, so this is basically the latest file we can consider, because this is basically the second backup. As the software is going to, create the backup in a sequence. So this actually tells us that this is basically the last backup. Okay, now I will just delete the schematic and board file here, and after that I will show you the process. So how exactly we create the backup file to the schematic file. So you just have to rename this one, and here you have to write SCH. And then you have to click on, you have to press the enter button, and then you have to click on yes. So this is how basically we create the schematic file out of the board file. Now here this was actually the last backup file. So I will just rename this one, and I will write here BRD. So this is basically the extension for the board file, and after that I will click on yes. And here we just have to, close the software. And let me open the schematic file now, and you will observe that the schematic file is going to have the same changes that we did last time. Okay, so you can see in the schematic file, we deleted some of the tracks, we deleted some of the lines. In the same way, we deleted some of the tracks in the board file. So that's how basically the backup feature in the Eagle software work. And I hope that this backup feature is now clear to you. All right. So that's what I wanted to tell in this video. Now I will see you in the next video, which is about introduction to Eagle feature back annotation. Okay. So I will see you in the next video now.